I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co, and it's time for a solo Sunday playthrough of Core of Discovery from Off the Page Games. Jay Cormier, Sen-Fung Lim, I believe. Anyone else? No, those are the designers on the box. There's also an illustrator, Sebastian Koziner, and the illustration by Matthew Roberts. We are going to go ahead and play through Scenario 2, which is Flora. Technically Scenario 3, there's a training scenario, then there's Fauna, then there's Flora. I might do more of these. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to see more of them. Also, hopefully I do this right because it's been a while since I actually played this. So that's not a big deal when you're not doing a film playthrough because you can just check things as you go. But let's go ahead and dive into this. This is a solo or cooperative deduction game. You're playing through scenarios and have specific goals, and you're trying to use deduction rules to try to figure out what's going on this board. In this specific scenario, we are trying to find and defeat the giant hive mind Flora with Greek fire. In order to do that, we need to slowly explore all these cards. These are randomly generated, so to speak. Then we need to find Greek fire in any order. We don't have to do it in that order, but we have to find the Greek fire. And then from there, we can take it out and defeat it once we have all the necessary resources, which as we explore each card, we will see the resources we might need on the back. Along the way, we are trying to survive. At the end of each of these challenges over here, each of these 3 days effectively, or 3 challenges per day, you're going to have specific resources you need in order to survive that challenge. If you fail, you have a cost, usually losing water. If you run out of water, you die. If you get to the end of the day and you don't have food to sustain yourself, you die. Those are the main ways you die offhand, and then from there, let's go ahead and dive into this, just walking you through how things work. We have our sheet, our Flora sheet, that tells us exactly how things are. We do know that Greek fire is going to be on F7, so we know where it is. We just have to get to it, and we are starting on B1. This is our starting square over here, B1. So this is B, you probably can't see it, but it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Those are little tiny little numbers here, but again, if you just know it's A all the way down, and then going this way for the numbers, then you're good to go. We have our peak, so the mountain peak over here is going to be E5. We always know where the peak is, and that's kind of what we need. What we need to know in order to start. With that said, at least 3 of each terrain start game. At least 3 of each terrain start game with fire. I'm not sure what that means. At least 3 of each terrain. Or is it just saying there's at least 3 of each terrain? Maybe. But we do start the game with fire. I know that, so we start with fire. Let's go ahead and walk through it. So we're going to start on B1. Let's see what B1 is. We're going to adventure over here. We're going to take this. We're going to add it to our day. Once we have 5 of them, then this card will be evaluated, at which point we need to have a stick in order to pass this day. Again, if we don't pass this day, we're not inherently dead. It's just better to pass days. Over here, we see this one. This is going to tell us that there are 2 Flora cards, Flora tokens or whatever it is, in the row or column. So in the row or column, there's only 2, which is pretty decent. That means across these, 6 more on each side, so that's going to be 12 more spots. There's a 1 in 6 chance for each spot we explore as we move from here. And you have to explore from various spaces. So we don't have a lot of information. We just know that there's going to be X number of things, and then we go ahead and we take another turn, so we go ahead and continue exploring. Let's see what we can explore. So we got our sun over here. I could go down. Down seems safe, but I think I'm gonna go up in this case. We're gonna go up, and we have water. So we just found water, which means we can take a piece of water and we can add it to our pack. That's excellent, because running out of water is bad. Now this is where we start getting into some of the rules. We know that water is orthogonally adjacent to wood. This is a fact. So we know for sure that this is wood. That is not a question, because if it's orthogonally adjacent and it's in the corner, we know that that is wood, so we're going to start exploring that way. But we also have over here, we have the tracking guide. Note, we have compass. If you correctly guess the terrain you're about to explore, discard the path token. So we're going to exhaust the compass, and we're going to say this is wood, because I don't think there's a question. I think it has to be wood. So we're going to exhaust this. We will refresh it at the end of the day, and we're going to predict wood. And there we go, we got wood. So a few things happen there. First things first is we grab wood and we add it to our backpack, okay? We can only hold 4 things before we start dealing with fatigue. But other than that, this token, instead of counting against our tokens over here, we're going to discard it off to the side. So we still go through the paths, but it's not counting towards the 5, giving us more time. Keeping in mind, we can spend the wood easily at the end of the day. So we're doing pretty good. Now again, looking at the rules over here, we know there's 1 wood per column and row. So in this entire row, we already have that 1 wood. In this entire column, we have the 1 wood. So we know there's no wood and no wood outside of that. So what else can we deduce? We can still keep moving over here. I think that the odds are pretty safe because you can explore from any previously explored area. We know that This down here, by the way, these over here are bi-directional rules, so we know that wood is next to water and water is next to wood. But over here, we know that mud is next to water and a stone, but not necessarily vice versa. We also know that all stone are connected and not on the edge of the map. Stone are never on the edge of the map. So I could risk going this way, but understanding we do have a lot of these in play, and I think my odds are better going in one of these. So I think we're actually going to go down, and we'll see what happens. We found another water. That's great as far as managing our water, but we're actually possibly dealing with water overflow at a certain point. So I don't know what I want to do there, because we just don't need the water right now. We're dealing with an abundance of water. We also know, by default, this is one of those fun little rules over here. If this was wood, it would violate this rule about wood. Therefore, this is wood, and we know that for a fact. But I almost want to save that for when we get to over here, because then I can use this again at the end of the day for a guaranteed, again, another free pathway, because I know that information. So at that point, we are starting to get into a bit more of uncertainty as far as how these go. I think I am going to go explore here. We're going to see what we got. Oh, we have the ability to make our shelter. So this is going to go down the path over here. We are at 4 out of our 5 suns over here. That's in the top corner. And we could build a shelter. Shelter costs any combination of 2 wood, mud, and skulls, whatever the skull symbol is called again. All right. And the shelter, by the way, is going to help us in a few ways, but one way is once we build the shelter on the board, at that point we no longer have to worry about fatigue from carrying too many items. So we're doing pretty good overall. We know the shelter is next to berries and wood. So we know the wood is already fulfilled, but that means one of these 2 things is berries for sure. The question is which one. So give me a second to take a sip. We're doing pretty good overall. I'm feeling pretty happy with this. All right, I should also look at my abilities. We have discard any 2 resources or water and gain a different resource or water. That's helpful. That's helpful because I could already build, but I don't want to do that yet. Gain a different resource or water. Do not gain the resource or water from exploring. Discard that path token and explore again. This is a tracking guide. This will help us. Do not gain the resource or water. Discard that path token and explore again. That's helpful if we do wander into water that we don't need. This is convert 1 berry into any resource or water, or 3 of any resource or water into 1 berry. So that's going to be our character ability. We have our 3 gears. As we explore a full row or column, we get various rewards. We'll talk about those. Again, I think one of these is likely to be berries. I think my odds are slightly better that this is a berry, so we're actually going to go down. And there we go. That's a berry. And now we have 5 tokens in there. We are going to get our food and put it into our backpack. So we have now resolved this card over here. In general, you're going to explore. That's mandatory. And then you have any number of free actions you can go with. Oh my gosh. I have been forgetting to do this. So right now, we have to move our way along this pathway, which is tricky. It might be worth trying to explore in a row to do so. What we do know is that skulls want unique resources around them, which means there's a decent chance that a skull could be here because we already have 3 unique resources, but I think the game would not put a skull there that early. Also, when we draw a skull, we draw a misfortune card, which is bad. But right now, we're going to spend our wood over here, we're going to pass, and we're going to then get a food in exchange. So we have food that can be stored in our backpack, and this is our first challenge card, Approach the Arch. This is always the first card you go through. It's done. When revealed, negative water if fatigued, and resolve any monster that has consequences. We don't have to worry about that right now because we don't have any monsters and we are not fatigued. But I do kind of want to work my way across a row. The scary part about doing that is we are eventually going to hit fauna. Fauna is flora. Fauna is the first map. So I think we don't know for sure. We don't know what's here. We don't know that. We know that food is next to a tent orthogonally, so this, or this are a tent. I think I'm just going to go for it and hope it's a tent. We'll see what happens. It is indeed a tent. We're going to put that here. By the way, we can clear these. That is indeed a tent. So we are doing decently over there. We're working our way towards the row. A tent allows us to trade a resource or water. So I could go ahead. We have so much water. I think I will trade this water. And we're going to need wood, mud, vines, and water. We have water. I think we'll trade for a vine. There's not a lot of vines, so we'll trade for a vine, and we'll get a vine. We'll get our hands on a vine. Great. So we have a vine now, which is going to help us for this. We still need to get a mud and a wood in order to do that. We should be good because we have mortar and pestle, but we'll figure it out. We're going to go this way. Now, this way, we know that this is next to food, so we already have that resolved. We don't know what this is. We know that this has a skull on somewhere around it. So one of these 3 is a skull, aka a misfortune. I think because we are trying to work our way towards things, I think I'm going to do this one, and it might well be a skull. It is not. It is a fauna. Okay, so this is where we have fire right now. So the way this works is it's going to go down here. Oh, we only have, oh my gosh, we're running out of time. We're running out of time. I thought I was doing so well. We shall see. Okay, we currently have fire. So the way it works is we could discard the fire to deal with the fauna at any point. So at this point, we can move on to the flora. We can, well, let's put our token down. We put our token down. We can't explore from that spot until we've resolved it. The tricky part here is if we don't immediately take care, if we don't immediately get rid of that, which we can do with fire, which we do start the game with fire in this particular scenario, if we don't immediately get rid of it, we lose a crew card. Losing crew card is going to make our life a little more difficult. So this is all bad. It's all bad is what I'm saying. But we are going to discard a fire, which I don't love because that means we need to build another fire before we find the next thingy. So we're going to discard the fire, and we're going to get rid of this, which means now, because we're getting rid of it, we can now take that food. So we can take a food, which again gives us plenty of food, and then we can start doing some things. We are good on time. I think what we're going to do is we're going to use Mortar and Pestle to discard any 2 resources or water. So we're going to discard a water and gain a different resource or water. So we're going to gain, where are we going to gain? We're going to gain a mud. That's going to be that. And then we're going to use our character ability, convert 1 food into any 1 resource or water. So we're going to convert 1 food into, where's the food over here? That food's going to go there. And we're going to convert it into wood. Okay, so now with all of that, we now have the things we need to deal with this when we want. We're going to exhaust our card, and that's going to, these are all going to refresh when we're finished with the day. We need more stuff. We got the food, we resolved that. That is, we still haven't done this over here. I do kind of want to go down because I do think we do need to get to the misfortune at this point. We do. So we're going to go straight down over here. And what are we going to find? We're going to find misfortune. Beautiful. That's what I want, ironically enough. This is going to go over here, and now we're going to resolve a misfortune card. It also means that none of these are food because we know that orthogonally around a skull are 4 different items. But let's draw our threat card. Threat card, monster. So it wasn't a misfortune, it was a monster. Place a Minotaur token. Oh my gosh, I need to find my Minotaur tokens. Give me 1 second here, because Minotaur tokens are technically from the last chapter, but you use the chapter components as you go through things. So we're going to grab a Minotaur token over here, and we're going to put the Minotaur in play on this row. Okay, we cannot explore from that zone because it's in the way effectively. So Minotaur, place a Minotaur token on. If day, explored skull terrain. If night row, it is currently day. Yes. If day, explored skull terrain. Great. Effect, discard any 1 resource or water to explore a path in its row or column. How to remove, resolve a kill Minotaur card. Now my guess here, this is a guess, okay? This is the tricky part of playing scenario-based games. The kill Minotaur card is in the first scenario. In this scenario, we have to find her, and she kills all existing and future Minotaurs. So I don't believe we have our kill Minotaur card for the scenario. I think it's specifically different each time. So even though the card says the kill Minotaur card, I don't believe we have that. But we have to discard a resource or water to explore a path in its row or column. So the good news is we did adventure onto this, which means we now can take our adventurer and move them there. The bad news is we have to get to rocks, and the rocks are always going to be in a single connected area. So this is going to be a single connected area, which means we have to try to work our way down here. We could go down there. That might be the way to go. I think that's the way to go. But first, we have 3 sun, so let's go ahead and resolve this card here. We have all these required resources. So 1, 2, gotta get these out over here, if I can grab them. 3. And then 4, losing a water, but it's better than losing 3 water, because losing 3 water is how we die. Okay, that is that. Then we resolve the card, and we discard the challenge. There we go. Well, on to our next one. We only have 2 left, and we don't have enough time to resolve this, unfortunately. But, we should have a skull token. When you explore skull terrain, you first add a skull to the leftmost spot in your backpack. So we're going to add a skull over here. So we do have that now, which is important because we need to trade in a skull or a stone. We have the water, we don't have the wood. So if we don't have the wood, and we know there's wood in every row and column, we know there's a wood here, that means this, or this are a wood. There's 1 row per, one of these 3 is a wood. We know that for a fact. And over here, similarly, we know that 1 of these is a wood. So I do think it might be in my best interest to try to explore there and see how things go. We might fail this one. And we don't have fire either, which makes it even worse. Okay, so you know, it's okay. It's okay. We could go this way, because we do get to advance on the next... Ooh, that's actually not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. We're going to go this way. This might not work in our favor. We have 3. Okay, so there's 3 in the row or column. We already have 1, which means there's either one here or two down here. I would guess that this is a safe one. The tricky part is I'm doing too much. I'm doing too much because I won't be able to get the resources. I need wood. Wood is one of these three spots for sure, but I have to discard something to do so. I don't even have the fire, unfortunately. Oh, we do know. I forgot about this. We have these over here. The inner row has going to have a lot of this flint or whatever you want to call it, and it can be combined with other resources to build fire. So at this point, I think knowing that this is not wood, we know that's not wood already. Do we know this is wood? This is not. It's one of these three that are wood, but we'd have to discard a resource to go there. I don't love this. Do not gain the resource or water from exploring. Discard that path token and again. Oh, I made a mistake over here. I forgot this, which will buy me some time. Earlier, we discovered this hills. You don't actually use that one. You don't. That's discarded. That's why it says another turn. You discard that, which means this one's gone, and we actually have one more, because this one I just got here, and we have one more that we can discard as well. So with that in mind, I think I will try to... Do I want to gamble on this one? These two were saying... I'm going to go down. I'm going to go down. Okay? We got a wood. Beautiful. Okay, so this I'm going to discard as well, because this is the other one I wasn't supposed to have taken. So technically there's supposed to be nothing here. Slight boo-boo over there. Oh, we got a cat. Hey, do you want to come down to my lap? What do you want? What do you want? Do you just want to hang out here? Oh, you're trying to cuddle up? Okay. All right. So, we got you. Yeah. No, you're good. You're good. Just stay here. There we go. There we go. Okay. So right now, we do have the wood over here. We also know that there's an orthogonally adjacent water, which means it's here, here, or here. So we're good on that end, but we have to grab the wood, which also gives us some more tools because now we have the wood, the skull, and we have the water. We might not get the food unless we build a fire, but I think that's a sacrifice we can afford to make. So right now, we still don't have stun on this card because of that backtracking that I just did. But I do want to get my way towards other stuff. So if we know there's water here, here, or here, and we're trying to work our way towards stone, we also now know for sure, by the way, we know this wood, and this wood. So this one's one of these three. This wood's all going to be drifting this way. I think we'll go down. We're going to go down, okay? And we got a TP. Okay, and we're going to take this, put it over here. We can exchange. We can use the TP to exchange for resource or water. So I think if we exchange this, we might want the food. We'll exchange this for... I guess we'll exchange it for... We have the wood, so we don't need that. We can exchange it for a stone, which is not bad. We'll exchange it for a stone, okay? And there's a reason we're doing that. Because I want the stone because of the fact I'm hoping to be able to hit stone here. One of these here somewhere is going to be stone, because stone's all in one grouping of area. And if I can get to stone, then we can build a fire, which is super important. Because there's a whole lot more of these other things that we have to be mindful of, and I'm a little worried about all of that. But we know that that's next to berries diagonally. So one of these four are berries. We know that. And then one of these are water. One of these two are water. One of these four are berries. So statistically speaking, that's probably water, if I have to guess. Although I don't know if that's true. That's just based on me just making things up, I think. We know that wood can't be here. We know that wood is going to be over here. So we know that for sure. What to do? I think I'm going to go this way. Okay. What do we get? We got that. Ugh. Okay. What I'm going to do is we're going to do not gain the resource or water from exploring. Can I use tracking guide? Do not gain the resource or water from exploring. Discard the path token and explore again. I don't know if I can use tracking guide on the sun thingamajiggy. I think I just have to lose a person. So we are going to put this down over here. Okay, so we are going to put that down here. We're going to lose one of my people, and I probably have to look up tracking guide. Let me see if I can find the tracking guide card and see what the rules are. If you don't find the resource water need, you can discard it and explore again. I don't think we can use tracking guide on the thing. Yeah, I'm not sure. We're going to say we can't. So, we have a flora token, basically, that's in play, and we lost one of our 3 crew because we didn't yet have fire. Which is not great, but hey, that's the game you play. So I could go down here now, and we can't explore from here either. That's another factor. Which means I'm going to go down here. And we have 0. This is going to be... Okay, great. So 0, we don't lose anything there. And we have 0 in this row or column. That gives us a lot of information. It does mean that I'm kind of inclined to go here, hoping it will be stone. I'm hoping it will be stone. The alternative is if I get flint, flint's going to be down here most likely, because there's got to be flint in this row column. This could be stone, this could be flint. We are trying to figure it out. But if I could do that, then I could build a fire. Let's see. Let's see what we can do. Okay. I know. Hey, buddy, you're taking up my space over here. So I think I'm going to go down here. And we are going to get a skull. Okay, not what I wanted, because we are going to have to put that over here, which that part doesn't bother me. The part that bothers me is that's going to make life a little harder for us. I was really hoping to not have that. Let's draw a threat card. And we're going to draw Disrespecting the Land. Before each explorer, guess the terrain type. If correct, activate the terrain and keep the resource water. If incorrect, activate the terrain, but place the gained resource water to this card. Once this card has 3 tokens, remove this card. Wow. Wow, Disrespecting the Land is terrible. Okay. Before each explorer, guess the terrain type. If correct, activate the terrain and keep the resource water. Okay, if incorrect, activate the terrain, place the resource water on the card. That is not great. But it does mean that we have some degree of control over things. I don't know if I said that. That's not true. Either way, we have to resolve this now. So we could spend this, and we could spend the stone, the wood, and we could spend the that, and that's going to give us our things that we need to pay for that, which is good. It also means we're not going to be fatigued as we resolve this. We passed, but we don't have fire, unfortunately. So we're not going to get food, but at least we don't lose the water. That's going to be our third challenge, which means now we go into the end of day. We now have to pay a food, which we do fortunately have, otherwise we die. Then we go here. If there's no monsters in play, we do have monster. Refresh all characters and gear. Reveal 3 new challenge cards. Basically, if there was no monster, we put a monster. So it is good that we have a monster, but other than that, it's all terrible. It's all terrible. We really need to get stone. Stone is over here. We need to do this already. I should have gone this way, honestly. But let's see what we can do. Okay. We are not making any progress on this. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to reveal 3 new challenge cards. We have some of the specific ones in the scenario, and then we also have ones that are the base ones. Okay. The way you know is if there's a thing in the top corner like that. That's going to be a scenario one, specific to the scenario. All right, we have 3. We need to get. We're gonna die. We're gonna die. But at least we do have the ability to make exchanges again. So give me a second to figure this out. Oh, should I just hold your paw like that? I can do that. You're a little squishy, you know that? Okay, back to the board. We're going to go exploring this way, and oh, these 2 stones are discarded. We're going to go exploring this way, hoping for stone. We got stone! Beautiful. That's what I wanted to see. That's what I wanted to see. And I want to see that for 2 reasons. First of all, we now have stone, and secondly is we can now advance this onto the stone stuff. That also means that I believe we should be able to kill this now. Oh, this should be over here, by the way. No, that's not true. That's not should be. We should be able to kill this now, and then advance on the next terrain. Let me just double check that one second. Because I believe that you can, but I'm not certain. If you do not discard, at any time in the future when you have a fire, discard that and activate that terrain. You have to find the flora as you're going. Choose one. At any time in the future when you have built fire, you can discard to kill any flora token, then activate that terrain. So it's actually a little trickier. It's not going to help us that much to get rid of that, unfortunately. So we are just going to go ahead, and I think we're going to build a fire. So we're going to spend 2 stone, okay, and we cannot explore from stone, by the way. So we can't, even though we have that stone, which is helpful, we can't explore from stone, so we're going to dump these back into our thingy. We're going to get a fire token. That's going to be important because fire tokens are essential. Would have been helpful to have it earlier, but fire tokens are essential towards taking out the flora as we discover them. Now, our next thingy that we do have, speaking of which, is flora. This is where we know that 2 of these are going to be flora, and specifically we know, no, it's not true, because it could be this way too. We know that in this row, 3 are flora, and possibly 1 is flora. But we don't know which one's where. So it's going to be a little challenging to try to figure this out. I think I'm going to head this away. No, we're not going to head this way, because we know there's no... No, I do want to get flora. I want to get flora. So we're going to head this way. We know that this is diagonally adjacent... No, somewhere adjacent to a tape. So we know that somewhere there is that. We know that that extension, one of these is a skull as well. We know that. We know this is a wood over there. Oh, by the way, I said this is stone earlier, which I did say, so we have that knowledge, which is good. That means we're going to be losing a lot of things to disrespecting the land. So what predictions can I make about what's here? I don't think I can make a lot of predictions. I'm going to guess with not really a lot of knowledge. I could go this way. It would be stone. This is tricky because this card is messing with me. It's giving me very little room to do things. I'm going to guess with not a lot of knowledge that it's that terrain. Okay? It is not. So we're going to lose that berry. Discard this card once it has 3 resources. That is so painful, by the way. We are not going to win this game. We do know that berries are next to a tent diagonally. So one of these would be a tent, which means there's a decent chance that this is a tent. Therefore, I'm going to wander into here, hoping it's a flora. And we're going to... It's a 1, so we discard this. That does not count against us. And we get to go again. We know there's 1 in its row or column. So either there's 1 here, but if there's 1 here, then none of these are going to be, because that would mean there's 2 over here. So I think it's far more likely this is a clean row, and 1 of these is the bad thingy. So what we're going to do is we're going to say that this is probably a flora, which is what we're hoping for it to be. We're going to spend our fire, hopefully. We're going to do it. And it's not a flora, it's a place where we can build our thingy. Which, that part's good. Unfortunately, we have to resolve this right now. So, we're going to do this. We are going to fail, which means we lose a destiny card, but we don't have one, so it doesn't actually matter. We are going to add that token. Unfortunately, we're going to add a lock token. And we're going to remove our 2 water from this board over here. So we're going to lose 2 water because we failed that card with the monster tracks. And unfortunately, that also means we have to grab a sample token and put it into our backpack, taking up a space in our backpack. That's going to be that card there, which is not great. We're doing not the bestest. Monster Tracks goes away. And now, again, this is probably going in that direction. So I don't know. We know this is wood, so I'm guessing this is going to be a bad thingy. It's not. It's not a bad thingy. We know there's 2 in the row over here because there's none in the column because we know that's wood. We discard that sun at least. We have to have fire and lose 2 water. We only have 3 water to lose, so we're not doing the bestest as far as this goes, but we do at least know that there's 1 bad thing in that column. We also know that this is over here. She's surrounding 3 wood. Oh, if she's surrounding 3 wood, interesting. We know that there's wood here. We know there's wood here. We know there's wood here. There can't be wood here. If there's wood here, there can't be wood here. Because that's wood there. Which means, if there can't be wood here, well, there's no wood there. Which means there's wood over here. Interesting. So she's over here. She's going to be somewhere over here as far as killing the Minotaur. That's good to know. So we should head this way to try to kill the Minotaur. Interesting. Because if I have to hazard a guess, wood, wood, wood. These can't be wood. This could be wood. This cannot be. But wood also could be down here. We're just going to head over here. So we're going to go... I don't love it. I don't love it because we're going to have to explore into there. We can't explore from here. We could explore past over here, knowing there's 3 in this column. There's a decent chance that this is actually the bad thing. So we're going to go into the bad thing, hoping for the best. We have to discard to do so. We're going to discard a skull to go ahead and explore here. We think it's the flora. It's not a flora. It's freaking flint. And that means we lose the flint, and that's going to go over here on this card, and we have a day there. We're going to die. We are going to die so fast. But again, we know there's 3 in the row and column. It could be here. It could be one of these. We could just guess it again because of these 5. I think we just got to guess it again. Now, we discarded that because there's a Minotaur in the row over here. But we're going to guess it again, and it is that. Okay, so we went through this. We've lost all our resources. We are basically dead. This card is at least gone, so we no longer have to play that game. But that's terrible. That's terrible, terrible. So now we have to go here. And again, it's got to be one of these. We're just venturing downwards. It's just we're hoping to encounter one. And we got that, which is what we want in this case. So in this case, we have our fire. We're going to discard our fire to get rid of this, which means we are going to get a stone. So we have a stone out of that. And more importantly, we also advanced over here, which means now we're trying to find a TP, and we're going to place this. This goes over here, isn't it? I think we die. Because we just lost the fire to do that. So we don't have fire. We can't pay the 2 water because the timing of that was bad. We're going to slightly change that because I could have known that. We're going to say this is wood, okay? We're going to do that first. That's going to give us the wood because we knew this information. And then that fire is going to go here. We're going to resolve this because we have 2 fire. We're going to lose 2 water because we're going to pass that. We are going to have to put a lock token in here, which is not great. And then we're going to resolve this over here. I'm going to lock over here. And we're going to now resolve this card because we could have done that out of order. But then we resolve this, and the next one goes on to the day. That's where it is. Oh, we have to have this by the end of the day. Lovely. That could have been like the second card, by the way. All right. Well, with that in mind, we're not going to be able to do this because we could get here before time runs out. 1, 2, 3. We could get there, but we can't explore from stone. So we can't go past here now, which means we're kind of stuck again. We're going to lose water. We know that. All right, this was great as a how not to play the game kind of game, which you're learning so much right now. The mud is always going to be next to water and stone. So this is probably water. So we're going to go here, and it is indeed water. So we got that. We at least got 1 more water, which is going to help us not die right away. We're probably still going to die, but we're not going to die right away. Okay, because when we fail this, we'll at least just lose 2 water. But then, what's next? And I have to remember, do we lose when we run? If you're required to lose water and you don't have any, which is not the case. That means one of these 2 is wood. So we are going to go ahead and say that, well, I could have done the path token thing. We know that this is possibly wood. This could well be wood, because this can't be wood, this can't be wood. One of these 2 are wood. It could well be this one here. I think that makes sense, because if this is wood, this has to be water. And I don't know if I'm confident that's water. I know it could be water, because water's next to wood. So I think the way to solve that is if we go, because if we go here and it's water, because one of these 2 is water. That's interesting. So we're going to go here and hope it's water. It probably is. It's not water. That means that is water. So we're going to put this down here. Oh, we put it over there. We're already there. We get our flint, fortunately. Okay, and we're going to lose 2 water because we unfortunately fail that day. Okay, we also lose a crew member. So we're still closer and closer to death without being actually dead yet. That does mean that we have to resolve end of day. We're going to lose a food, which we at least can pass that goal. And then we put out 3 new challenge cards and see what we got. Oh, 2 mud. That's great, because we totally can get our hands on mud. Now we could build fire, which we probably should do. We're going to discard this along with a stone. And that's going to give us our fire back, because we do want fire. Fire is going to be very important for us. This is the stone. We're going to get a fire token, which we'll put over here, because I got a cat's paw covering the rest of this. And we got rid of these over here. We can get rid of these cards, these sun tokens. Now, again, that means that is for sure a water. So what we're going to do is we're going to go there, exhaust before exploring, and call it water. And because it's water, we can then we don't lose that sun. So we get some more water, which is great because we need everything we can get our hands on in order to possibly survive this. From there, this could still be wood, because wood just has to be next to water, but so can this. There's no guarantee of which one's which. But if this is wood, then this isn't wood, so this might be wood. So it's in my best interest to try to hope this is wood. And it's not, it's mud, but mud is actually helpful for us. So we're going to be fine with that. Okay, just give me a second to figure this out. We haven't built our shelter yet. We're running out of resources to do so. We're going to add a lock token. Dear Lord, these cards. We are down to the wire here. Okay, back down to over here. We need to get our hands on the fire. We also know, we know that one of these, we know that this We know what this is. We're going to explore here because we know it's that, which means we can move over here on that pathway. That went well for us. We have our 2 mud. No, we don't have 2 mud. I lied. But we can trade for 2 mud. We still need the shelter, though, in order to survive. So we're really not going to make it, is what I'm realizing here. The only option is to get our hands on water. And if we know that water is next to wood, we don't know much. We don't know much. Water could be anywhere. Water is this over here. We can trade for water. Can we? You can trade for water. Trade 1 resource or water. So we can trade this wood in for a water, which will help us not totally die. We're just playing a desperate survival game at this point. That's with when we discover this. And then from there, we know that we already know there's a skull around us. That's fine. We're trying to get our hands on wood. Wood, again, is going to be one of these spots, but it also is probably down here. So if we explore here and we find wood, that will tell us a lot. Perfect. So that's going to go here. We get our hands on wood. We also, very importantly, get to advance over here, which is great. But then we resolve this card, where we have to give up 2 mud. Oh, I meant to do this. Discard any 2 resources or water. No. Because I can't do the passing. Well, I could do the passing. We could pass, but I don't have the shelter. Is there a way around that? Can we build a shelter? We need any 3 of these, which we don't have. So I can't build. I need 2 of these. So for example, I could build a shelter right now, but then I wouldn't have the water. So I think if we discard this and gain a different resource or water, no, I think we're just going to fail. We're just going to fail right now. No, we're going to discard this to gain a different resource. So we're going to discard a water to gain 1 mud. And then we can trade in the 2 mud to pass this card. We unfortunately won't get the water. We will, on the other hand, get a lock token. Okay, that's bug infestation is done and resolved. We are doing not the worst. But we do need to advance onto this. And this is where we know that there's 3 in this row. We know that. The problem is we can't go past here without discarding a resource, which makes our life a little challenging. But we also know she's probably in play. So we're going to discard the wood in order to go here. And we found her. Perfect. Minotaurs are dead, and no future Minotaurs can be in play. Unfortunately, that doesn't mean that the monsters are now in play, so we're going to reveal new threat cards at the end of the round. But I don't think we're going to survive that long, so I think we're totally fine. Oh, and she gets to go over here. We also know that for sure, that means these and these are wood. Because that's stone, so it has to be these and these. So we have plenty of wood coming our way, if only that actually mattered. So at this point, we're basically dead. We are just trying to figure out what we can do to kind of make it through. Well, it's not true. We're not trying to figure it out. This card, by the way, should be flipped. These are the resources you would need to defeat it. You can cover them with existing crew in order to negate them. That means the more crew you die, the harder it is going to be to defeat the plant. But we're going to go ahead and resolve this, which should be 1 more of the monsters, hopefully. And it is, so we get to put this over here. We can immediately discard our fire to kill it. That's going to advance it over here, so we don't lose a crew. We remove that from play. We get our flint, which again I keep calling it flint. I don't know if that's what it is. But then this goes over here. We do not have what we need. We fail. We lose water. We cannot afford to lose water, and we die. That's Flora. That's Flora, and we don't win on Flora, unfortunately. Anyways, that is basically a gameplay of Core of Discovery. I died. I never even got to get a full... Oh, small rule, small thing. When I completed this column, I was supposed to take little destiny cards. I don't think it would have helped us. I don't think it would have helped. But like the Rusty Axe is pretty cool. There's whatever. We should have taken destiny cards when we did those. That's not relevant. We definitely died. We definitely still died. Anyways, that has been a gameplay of Core Discovery. I hope you diving back into it, hoping to do better next time. And until next time, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co. Hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one.